Mike Cardano with Roto Experts in the Fantasy Sports Network, here to talk to you about getting some value in your fantasy football draft. As we start to look at ADP numbers rolling in and where players are being taken, there are definitely some inequities and inefficiencies to explore. But today, we're going to take a look at Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Andy Dalton, who's currently the 17th quarterback coming off the board according to data provided by FantasyPros.com. And I'm going to make the case here on why he's being taken way too low. Now, Andy Dalton is durable, having started his career off by playing in 48 straight games, not missing a game in his first 3 seasons, while making significant progress as a passer each and every season. He's increased his passing attempts each of his first 3 seasons, 516 in year 1, 528 in year 2, and 586 last season, finishing 8th in the NFL in both attempts and completions with 383. Now, he's increased his yards per attempt each of his first 3 seasons from 6.69 to 6.95 to 7.33 last season, tying him with Matthew Stafford. Andy has increased the yards he's thrown for each of his first 3 seasons. He threw for 3,398 in year 1, 3,669 in year 2, and last year 4,293 yards, which was good for 7th in the NFL. He's also increased his touchdowns from 20 to 27 to 33 last season, again, good for 7th in the NFL. He's increased his passer rating each of his first 3 seasons, going from 80.4 to 87.4 to 88.8, and finished 8th in the NFL in yards per game last season at 268. Now, Andy Dalton has a top 5 receiver in A.J. Green to throw to. He has a top 25 receiver in Marvin Jones to throw to. He has Mohamed Sanu as a third wheel, who is now in his 3rd season and continues to hone his skills as a wide receiver. Last season, as he learned his craft, Sanu saw a dramatic increase in both his playing time and his production as he totaled 47 catches for 455 yards and 2 touchdowns. I expect Sanu's presence and athletic ability to take an even bigger role this season, putting even more pressure on opposing defenses, helping Andy Dalton. Now, Dalton has 2 serviceable tight end targets in Jermaine Grissom and Tyler Eifert, who, when you add their performance together, ended up being equal to the 6th most productive fantasy tight end last season. And he has Giovanni Bernard to dump the ball off in space to. And it would be a shock to the fantasy football community if Bernard was not a PPR beast catching passes out of the backfield this season. Now, I mentioned Matthew Stafford here, and to show you how undervalued Andy Dalton is, I want to compare last season's production of these 2 quarterbacks. Stafford is currently the 4th quarterback being taken, while Dalton isn't coming off the boards until number 17. Stafford had just 8 more completions on the season on 48 more attempts, while throwing for just 23 yards more per game. Now, the 2 quarterbacks had the same average yards per attempt, while Andy Dalton threw for 4 more touchdowns, being more efficient overall with a higher quarterback rating. Now, admittedly, Dalton threw too many interceptions last season, although only 1 more than Stafford, by the way, and somehow that seems to be the statistic that most people are focusing on. But he's improved every season as a quarterback, and I expect that he'll do a better job of not turning the ball over this season as he continues to prove on his durable, productive progress as an NFL quarterback. Now, my point here is not that you should be taking Andy Dalton ahead of Matthew Stafford. Rather, my point is simply that Dalton, who's currently not being taken until the 131st selection overall, is extremely undervalued coming into this season, and someone that you should be able to wait on and still roster as a productive quarterback long after his production warrants. At the moment, people aren't taking him until rounds 10 or 11, and to me, it's a gift.